Hello and welcome to Creating with Class. That's crafty lessons and simple steps with Linda Wirt. Hi, I'm Linda and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returner, you're going to see something a little bit different than I normally have done in the past. I am going to be sharing with you a book that I discovered while searching YouTube and looking for some creative inspiration. And I actually got this book while I was on vacation. Before I went on a family vacation, I cleaned up my craft room, organized it to get it all put away before I left. And I discovered there were a lot of things that I either haven't used or have used a little bit, but not that much. So I went on my vacation and my mind started going and I started thinking, how could I use these things? And I started going on YouTube and I started looking at videos. And I came across several videos of people using this particular book called Create This Book by Moriah Elizabeth. So I then went to her YouTube channel and went and watched her entire playlist of how she used this book that she created. And she created it so it could spark some inspiration. So Moriah Elizabeth, if you're not familiar with her, is a beautiful, young, talented woman who can paint anything. And a lot of the people that use this book that I have seen on YouTube are all artists, and they draw or they paint or they color or do things like that. And I'm none of those. So I was like, I watched the different episodes that the different YouTubers had put on, and I started thinking of my supplies that I have as a crafter. And I really thought this book might help spark some inspiration for me to use some of those items and maybe come up with some projects that I might not have thought of otherwise. So while on vacation, believe it or not, I purchased the book and had it delivered to the location where I was vacationing and then started looking through it. And my mind just started going. I started putting Post-it notes on different pages because I started thinking of different ways I could use these supplies that I had back home. So this is going to be episode 1 of a series. If you're interested in watching future ones, let me know down below what you thought of the pages that I've created, what kind of supplies that you have in your craft room that you might like to see me try in my book here, and I will do my best to do that. But in the meantime, let me show you what I've done so far with the supplies that I have on hand. All right, so let's get started. So you'll see from the cover, it's left blank. The instructions are going to be for me to color that in. I haven't done that yet. But if you open up the book, I haven't done that part either, where you're supposed to put your name. And it kind of gives you some rules and guidelines of how to do it, tips and tricks, different materials that would work well for the cover specifically or for the pages within the book. It'll definitely tell you here for using the front and back cover, for decorating the interior, what she recommends, what she doesn't recommend that you use just because of the thickness of the paper. There might be some bleed through, especially if you use certain markers and watercolors, which I've already used some markers and they have bled through. So, I've definitely layered and done things on separate paper and then glue them into the book for that reason. Also, she highly recommends that you protect your artwork with a clear coat, and I'll show you what I used. She uses Mod Podge matte finish varnish type of thing, or she uses packing tape, and I use something different, so I'll show you what I use. So she does recommend you can go in any particular order that you would like, but one of the main things is you do need to create a rule for the book. And the rule that I created is I must use a different type of medium for consecutive prompts. So for example, if I use acrylic paint on page 2 and 3, then I can't use it on the next prompt, which is on page 4 or 5. And I gave myself this rule to push me to start using more of the supplies that I have and not just keep using the same thing over and over again. So this is kind of pushing me to try either new things or some of my old supplies in a new way. So that was the rule I used. So there is no rule. You don't have to go in order. You can move around however you'd like in the book, and that's exactly what I did. But I did start off with the rule, and what I am going to do is after each video that I do, I'm then going to add in what the different mediums are that I use. So for instance, I used washable marker, iron-on vinyl, so I will go ahead and list those on these pages. So it's blank for now, but when I get done with my first set of pages, I'll go back and then I'll go ahead and write down the different mediums of type of artwork that I've used. All right, so let me flip to the back of the book first, where I started. And this is the page that I started with. And so the prompt is create a page of emotion. write about, draw, or attach pictures of at least 3 different emotions here. So I thought about the different emotions of a crafter. And this is, if you are a Cricut person, these faces are very familiar. They're called Cricut cuties if you're not a Cricut person. And the Cricut cutie is the little mascot for those who do enjoy working with a Cricut. And he has different expressions that he does, and it is available in the Design Space software that comes with the Cricut machine. So I went ahead and printed out in different colors the different types of emotions that you might have as you're creating a project. First, the excitement of when you get the idea, and you'll see this little Cricut has a light bulb over it. So, oh my gosh, I've got a great idea. Then you kind of go into a curious type of emotion as to, I wonder how I can make that. Then when it doesn't turn out or you're having troubles doing it, you get a little angry possibly, and then maybe a little annoyed, and then maybe just tired of trying altogether. And then finally it all comes together and it turns out great. So I used iron-on vinyl to create this page. A lot of people don't realize you can use iron-on paper. And actually I highly recommend it because it goes on much easier, especially if you have intricate things that you are cutting out and that you don't want to have to sit there and weed and then try to stick in with a transfer tape. And also it's great with paper because you don't have to worry about your transfer tape ripping. You just go ahead, put it on. You definitely should put a piece of parchment paper behind it when you go ahead and iron it. And then I used my Cricut mini press and put it on the lowest setting, and then went ahead and put on the page, and then with circular motions, took only about maybe 5 seconds, and then peeled it off. I did tell you that I protected my pages a little bit differently than Moriah does and some of the other artists out there that are using this book. I used Cricut Premium Vinyl Transparent, and it is great for covering pages so you protect the artwork so it doesn't rub off on the previous page or the facing page. So this is what I used. It's very inexpensive. Right now it's on sale on the Cricut.com website for $3.97 a roll. So it is a bargain, much cheaper actually than packing tape or Mod Podge. So highly recommend it, and it works beautifully. So that was the first page that I did. And then the next one that I'd like to show you, I did attempt some artwork. Like I said, I'm not an artist, I'm a crafter, but I did attempt this. It says, create a page of checkers, put checkers here. So I looked at some of the different types of YouTube videos out there. I actually am going to be going to Philadelphia to the Museum of Illusions this coming month, and I wanted to look at what kind of displays they had, and they do have all different types of illusions, especially ones that use patterns. And so I went ahead and looked at that website, and just getting excited, ready for my trip to go to Philly to see this museum, I thought I'd go ahead and recreate this. So I just used white paper and actually made this along with the YouTube video. There's many you can find. Just put in optical illusion using checkerboard, and a lot of videos will come out. And this is the pen that I used. It's an R2 roller ball that I got at the Dollar Tree, and that is what I used to fill in all of these squares. All right, next. This page says, create a page of stickers. Place stickers all over this page. And as I watched all the different YouTube videos out there, people just covered their pages with stickers, and I just couldn't do it because I just am a sticker hoarder, and I just can't go ahead and stick them on the page without a purpose. So what I did here is, as I was cleaning out my craft room before I went on vacation, I found a whole bunch of sticker holders that I've used to hold my stickers. And basically they're just baseball card holders that I purchased, and I had a whole bunch left over. So I took one of those and cut them apart, and then put different stickers in that I've used in my days of scrapbooking. I used to be a creative memories consultant, and I've done scrapbooking for many, many years. And so I just wanted to put a display of the different type of stickers that I use and the different brands. So this is an example of the Jolie's Boutique, which is a 3-dimensional stickers, Francis Meyer, which is like the watercolor, Creative Memories, which is very realistic looking. Happy Planner stickers, because I like to journal and do planning with calendars. And then these two are Mrs. Grossman, which are probably the most popular that a lot of scrapbookers use. So this is just a little collection of my stickers. Like I said, you can do whatever you want with this page. You don't have to follow the directions completely, but what this allowed me to do was kind of show the way I organize my stickers. Next, this page says create a pocket. Apply glue inside the dotted lines on page 57, which was the next page. So you had to glue here and then stick the two pages together to create a pocket. Close the book and allow the glue to dry. Store something in the pocket that is created between the two pages. Now, as soon as I saw this page, it brought me back to my childhood, and I thought about the song that I used to sing in Brownies about a pocket. And if you're not a Girl Scout or you weren't ever a Brownie, there is a song that we used to sing at every troop meeting, and it was the Brownie song. And I put the words right here. I typed them up in the computer, sent them out and printed them, and then just kind of inked it to make it match. And I made my pages look like a Brownie vest. And then this particular sticker is a Frances Meyer sticker or a Bo Bunny, not sure which one it is, that I put on here to show the Brownie. And then I made myself my little badge here with my Brownie pin. Inside the pocket is exactly what the song tells you is in it. Those who aren't familiar, I will just sing a little bit of it. I've got something in my pocket that belongs across my face. I keep it very close at hand in a most convenient place. I'm sure you couldn't guess it if you guessed in a long, long while. So I'll take it out and put it on. It's a great big brownie smile. And in the pocket, I made a brownie smile. So for those of you who used to be Brownies many years ago, that hopefully brought back some nostalgia. For those who have never been a Brownie, then you just heard the new Brownie song to you, for you. But this was just a neat little page, and it was fun to take some leftover scrapbook paper and create my own little Brownie vest, and then I used a Sharpie pen to make the stitching. But it was a lot of fun, brought back some memories. Next, this page says create art with wax. Decorate this page using only wax, candle wax, crayons, etc. And obviously, I thought of crayons right away. My youngest daughter is an elementary school teacher, and I was with her last year when she was purchasing some supplies for her classroom, like all teachers usually do, is they use their own money to buy supplies for their classroom. And she bought a box of crayons that I hadn't seen before, which was Colors of the World, which have all the different skin tones. And I hadn't seen that. It didn't exist when I was a child, so I thought I'd go ahead and buy that. And then I'd never seen neon crayons. That didn't exist either. So I decided I would use these. I'd had them and I hadn't used them yet. So I brought them out of my closet and didn't know what to do. So not very creative, but I just took the box as my inspiration. Yes, I told you I'm not an artist. I tried to redraw the box and then just drew scribbles of the crayons that are in there. And then for this one, I actually went into Cricut Design Space and found an image that said crayons with some crayons there, and then printed that out and then traced it onto this page and then used the crayons to fill it in. So that's why this one looks way better than this page, because this one was traced and this one was hand drawn. All right, next. This page says, create a family. Draw, attach, or assemble an image of a family. And so I had this vinyl sitting around that looks like wood, and it kind of reminded me of a bookshelf that I used to have. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to make a bookshelf. What can I put on that bookshelf? So I went in my Cricut Design Space and looked at different type of images. I typed in family, and up came these nesting dolls. So I was like, oh my gosh, I used to have nesting dolls. My background is Czechoslovakian, and I remember there, from Prague, there were some nesting dolls that my grandmother had. So I went ahead and I took these files. They were basic cut files, and I converted them to print and cut. If you're not familiar with how to do that and you're interested in a video tutorial, leave me a comment down below and I'd be happy to do that. I also took some leftover stickers from a sticker sheet that I had. I don't know if anybody else out there is a scrapbooker and you use all your letters up, but you have certain ones left over. And that's exactly what this was. And this is the actual official name of what a nesting doll is called. So I just used a little ink on the background and made this page and created a family of nesting dolls. Next, create simplistic drawings. Fill this page with stick figure drawings. I had thought about drawing stick figures, and then I remembered that I acquired recently a set of stamps that have sticker little stick figures. And this brand is Stampin' Up! And actually it says it's from 2007, so it's an old set that I acquired from somebody. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna try making these. And I also, in my cleanup, found these set of inks. I had purchased these at a clearance sale at Joann's and never used them. I usually use Mementos ink, and I've never used Jim Holtz Distress ink. So I bought each set of these on sale, and I bought the case, and they've been sitting in the closet. So I took them out and decided to use them with my stick figure stamps and came up with this fun page. And what it did is it really made me see that I do like those inks, and I probably will start using them in future craft projects and paper projects because they're very opaque and pigmented, and I really like the way that they go on. So it was nice to be able to use them to see, you know what, I'll probably use them in a future project. Next was create a meal. This says draw, write about your ideal meal, and don't forget dessert. So I decided to look up the menu of my favorite restaurant and take the menu, print it out, and turn them into stickers. So I turned them into stickers and then placed them on here, and then took a gold pen and circled the different foods and entrees and items on the menu that my family and myself enjoy. And then this kind of prompt looked like a plate to me, so I kind of inked the background to make it look like a table, and then used a little cloth left over from a recent fabric project that I did to make it look like a napkin, and then used silver vinyl to make the fork, knife, and spoon with my Cricut. Speaking of Cricut, the next page is create letters. Fill this page with letters, use them for aesthetic value rather than writing words. And if you do have a Cricut, you will know that you can look at different fonts and bookmark them. And that way you can refer to them in the future instead of going through the thousands upon thousands of fonts there are available to use. So I went through my bookmark fonts that I realized I had never used, and I also pulled out some vinyl that I hadn't used either. And these are from the Dollar Tree. They're Crafter Square Dollar Tree brand, and there are pastel colors, which I usually don't use. So I decided to grab those, take those out, and then cut out the different fonts that I had saved. And sure enough, I now know that these two are going to be in an upcoming project on a t-shirt and a mug. So it was great to be able to look at those fonts that I had saved and never used. And the last thing I'm going to show you is this last project here, this last page, is create a page of polka dots. Polka dots on this page. So this page was inspired by a trip that I had taken to the Hirshhorn Museum in Washington, D.C. And on display was an art installation by a particular Japanese artist, Yayoi Kusama, and she is known as the Polka Dot Princess, and all of her artwork involves polka dots. So what I did is I went ahead and drew all these polka dots, and then went ahead back and used a Crayola superfine washable marker in red, and then colored them all in. Then what I did is I went on the website and went ahead and printed out the information about the artist and attached it with some washi tape. And then finally I took some of my pictures from my trip to Washington, D.C. and printed them out using my Canon Ivy, which has photo sticker paper, and they actually have sticker paper that is already pre-cut circles. So it was a fun way to go ahead and bring in the polka dot theme along with some pictures of that actual artist and my trip, and a memory of my trip to the museum. So that's all I've done so far. I hopefully this maybe have inspired some of you. I would love to hear any of your comments down below. Which was your favorite page so far? And if you're interested in seeing what I do next with some of my craft supplies, please hit the subscribe button so you'll know the next time I release a new video. Thanks for watching, and until then, happy crafting.